Good morning. So we're on Testament base, the bottom line. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So Testament base and the subject is Shimshon. It's all Agav. The Mishnah spoke about Midah connected Midah by a sotah because it had brought down other examples of people that were paid Midah connected Midah for good or for bad. And we're in the middle of Shimshon. That's how the Gemara started. And we're dashing the whole parsha of Shimshon. So bottom line, Hu Yachel Oshias Israel, when he was when the Malach told his mother and his father that he's going to start saving Am Yisrael. So it says the word Yachel. Yachel Pasha means to start. Am Rabbi Chama Rabbi Chanina Huchal Shvuaser Shalav Yimel. So much dashing by Yachel. Sometimes it means start, but also could mean like to profane. Rashi brings down like Lo Yachel Devaro. So Huchal Shvuaser Shalav Yimel. The shvua that Avimelech made Avram swear about not fighting with the Plishtim, and the Shimshon fought with the Plishtim. So it's already void. The shvua was void already. They said in that there was a shvua that Avimelech said you shouldn't go against my son, my grandchildren. So here was already mutter. The Gemara doesn't say why. Why was the shvua off? Rashi says because the Plishtim started up first. That the shvua was as long as they don't start, so we now shouldn't start. But if you're going to start, so we're allowed to fight back. So now, at the time of Shimshon, that the Plishtim fought, so then Am Yisrael was allowed to fight back. We're dashing psukim in Shimshon over there in Toftin. Hashem, the lad, the youth, grew up and Hashem blessed him. What did he bless him? Rashi says bracha means ribuy. Bracha means increase a lot, and usually it means riches, wealth. But we don't find that Shimshon was wealthy. So in what way did you see that Hashem blessed him? With his organ. If he had a regular sized organ, not that it was huge, if it would have been huge, it would have been mum, but it's a normal size. But he had a semen that was like a flowing river. Means he had a lot of zera. It doesn't say that we don't know anything about Shimshon's children. We don't know anything about it, but it says here that he had a lot of zera. When he was in Boel, there was a lot of zera. It says in the pasuk, like Shimshon al Hashem, Vayomar. This is the end of the story when he was already captured by the Plishtim and he was blinded and he was by the arena over there and he asked Hashem to give him strength one last time that he should be able to take the Nikama from the Plishtim. So it says, remember me, Zachreini, remember me and strengthen me one more time and I should be able to take revenge from my Nikam Achas, one Nikama from my two eyes, that I say the Nikama from my two eyes from the Plishtim. So it says, Zachreini, what's me? Remember me. Remember what? Amar Shimshon Lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ribono Shel Olam. Zacholi Esrim Shana Sheshafati Yis Yisrael V'Le'amanti Lachat Mehem Ha'Vali Maki Al Mimakom. Remember the 20 years that I led Am Yisrael. I was the leader of Am Yisrael, and I didn't tell anybody to take even a stick from one place to another place. I didn't use my authority for any personal use. It says in the first 20 years, there's a Gersa Esrim Bushtaim, that difficulty with this Gersa. The first Pshat is with, like it says, Esrim, that he was the leader of Am Yisrael for 20 years. And in all that time, he didn't ask him, he didn't use his authority for anything else besides what it was meant for. This is the Gemara is jumping around in the storyline. This goes back to the beginning when he first, with the Plishtim, so he captured 300 oxen, and he tied them back to back, and he put a torch in between, and they burned down the fields of the Plishtim. How come we got that Kishualim? We could have gotten other animals also. Amar Rabbi Aivu Bar Nagdi, Amar Shimshon said, the Plishtim made a shvua, and they went back, they retracted, they went back on their shvua. So a fox, when the derech of a fox is, when he's in danger, so he backs off. He doesn't turn around and run, he backs off. So that's called like going in a crooked way. He goes he backs away. So still too, they backed off of their shvua. So also they should be paid back by the fox. The fox is also the one who backs away, goes back on his word, so to speak. Tanya, Amr Shimon Chachasid, Bank Seif of Shimshon Sheshim Amahaya, between the shoulders of Shimshon was 60 amas. Of course, it doesn't mean literally. Shimshon wasn't 60 amas wide, but you see that he had strength of being able to hold something which is 60 amas. Don't take it literally. What does it say in the pasuk? Vayochas b'dalsa shara ir b'shkei mezuzos vayisraim im avriach vayosam al kaseipav. Over there, it's talking about the one point he was in Gaza, and over there it said it was the Isha Zona, and the Plishtim surrounded him that he shouldn't be able to escape. And it says he got up in midnight and he took the doors of the gate of the city together with the doorposts, and he uprooted it together with the lock, and he put it on his shoulders, and he ran up the hill. So he was able to carry the doors of Gaza. We know that the doors of Gaza were 60 yards wide, very huge doors, and he able to uproot it and take it away. The Pashtat, of course, is not that it was between his shoulders. It means he held it on his shoulders. That's what the Gemara means, that his shoulders were so strong that he was able to carry something which was 60 yards wide. Doesn't mean that his shoulders from shoulder to shoulder were 60 yards, but it means that his shoulders were able to carry something which was so big, 60 yards. This is going to end of the story that he was captured by the Plishtim and he was made to mill. What's the word? To grind in the Beis Hasum. They had over there a mill, and Shimshon was put to work that he should grind. He had no strength anymore. He wasn't anything superhuman anymore. But that was his punishment. They were putting him to grind in the jail. But the Gemara says, the tchina over here that it says grinding, but the Gemara is saying that it's a lesson of having relations. And what does that mean? He had relations. That's the pasuk in Eov over there. It says, we'll see the pasuk in a second. In Eov it says, oh, thank you.
Yeah. The cups. These might be better. A little higher.
Okay. So the Rabbi is pasuk in Eov to show that tchina is referred to as lashon nekiya about having relations. What does it say with it? It's going to be in a second. Where does it go? Even if you look a couple of lines down, the beginning of the pasuk in Nifta Livi Al Isha Bal Pesach Hafti Avravti. Over there, Eov was saying that he was righteous. That's the whole story of Eov, that he was righteous and he didn't do anything. Why does he deserve all the punishments? Over there it says, if I was ever seduced by a woman and I ambushed by the door of my fellow man, means I went with somebody else's wife. If that happened, then my wife, that's all the pasuk. Then my wife should grind for others, and upon her may others kneel. So the Gemara says that Pashtan, the pasuk also means like that. If I was mazana with any woman, so my wife should have relations with other men. He was cursing himself to say that if I ever did an avera, so then my wife should be raped. And he's saying I didn't. But anyway, what do you see that the Tchana Acherishti is talking about znus? That's a lashon nekiya to talk about relations. So what does it say? The Gemara says that it means that he was made to have relations. What do you see? What does that have to do with Shimshon that he was made to have relations? That all the Plishtim, they wanted the wives to have children that were strong like Shimshon. So they brought their wives to have relations with him. That was with the Goyish cup, that they wanted their wives to become pregnant from Shimshon. They say griva duvla. Before somebody that drinks wine, they bring wine. Before somebody that digs, they bring things that grow in the ground. Like griva, that means a basket of duvla. What do they say? Duvla means? Rashi says a kind of a vegetable, some kind of a vegetable. So it means that a person gets what he desires, what he works at, what he's usual at. So since when some of them drinks, then they bring him a drink. Somebody that digs in the garden, so they bring him vegetables. So since Shimshon was very much into having relations, so too that when he was punished, he also was punished by having they brought him to have more relations. That was like a bad thing for Shimshon, the fact that they brought the women, that he was forced to have relations with them. Of course, it's the Drash, I don't think it's Pashab Shat, but in the Drash is saying that he was brought to have relations with the women, and it says because he was doing that a lot in his life, on his own, so that's why when they brought him something, they brought it from this, Hashem orchestrated, it should be the same thing that he was used to.
How do we understand that? How you mentioned before Shimshon that he was shayfet in Klal Yisrael, he was a shayfet or a leader, whatever. But he was in the position that he was Mizak in the Rabbin, in a good way. So how did they come to such they're various?
The question is if he did an Avera. Did a Shimshon do an Avera? The question is not simple if he did an Avera. Not simple, not simple that was
I
another.
don't remember seeing a word related.
Not simple, not simple. The having relations with a Lishti is not so simple. The Pashup Shah and the Pasuk, it says it's only us to on the Zion Amen. And it doesn't talk about that. We possibly probably also that is not us to have relations with the Goyim and Adin. Talks about the Fehesia, Abol Ramas Kana and Pogim, but if it's not the Fehesia, so the Pashup says with the rice wouldn't be also. And Lila wasn't even simple that she was Lishti. Could be she was Jewish. Could be if Lila was Jewish. There's a book by Gershon Weiss. I don't know if it's in print anymore. Samson's Struggle. Fascinating book. I just remember it from 40 years ago. But he did in the Pashup Shad. He didn't without the Midrashim even. The Pashup he analyzes Shimshon very, very. There's a lot of justice. I think. If I remember correctly, it was a very beautiful book.
Is it in English?
It was in English.
Yeah, it was in
Samson,
English,
even the names, not Shimshon. Samson's Struggle. Samson's Struggle.
Like Gershon Weiss.
Gershon Weiss.
Okay.
Maybe it's possible to get online. I don't know. I'm sure. But it's a very good book. Analyze the story of Shimshon.
I would have, but I never read it.
This is parentheses. We can make parentheses over here because it's not Mamish subject. But it comes in because of the pasuk of put this in parentheses. Everything's parentheses over here. The pasuk is sotah. Because of sotah, we went into Shimshon. Because of Shimshon,
Community connected neither.
community connected neither. And now because of that, but actually the whole parsha of Shimshon. Agav it says that so it brings down this pasuk over here. Just to get that end parentheses over here. If somebody's mizana, a man is mizana with women, so then his wife is going to be mizana on him. Shenema, this pasuk in Iyov. Right away it says if I was seduced on another woman and I ambushed by my friend's house in order to have relations with his wife, so my wife should grind, which means have relations with others, and upon her may others kneel. So the Pashtat might mean more like to rape her. My wife should be raped if I had relations with other women. But the Gemara say not to rape. She'll do it on her own. If a man is mizana, so his wife is going to be mizana.
I thought that tzaddikim even that first mitzanai is chav. It's not a good thing to do.
Okay, I don't know.
Yaakov,
So you're saying you shouldn't have said such a thing? I don't know.
A man of his stature.
I don't know. Behind the Dabri you be Gari, it's a baby. This is how the saying goes. Whatever the husband does, the woman also does. The man does it in big, the woman does it in small. And the Kari and Butzini is different kind of Rashi says it's the same kind. It's a kind of a gourd, a squash. And there's a big one and a small one. If the husband does something, so the woman is of the same kind. The Marbi's done this by Megillah, by Achashverosh and Vashti. Achashverosh was into Znos, Vashti also was. So he's in the big gourds, pumpkins, and she's in the small ones. So that's the pasuk here. That was the member of Rabbi Yochanan that if someone's mizana, his wife is going to be mizana. Back to Shimshon. Shimshon danis Yisrael kavim shabashamayim. Shimshon judged Am Yisrael like Hashem. Shenamar dan yedinamo keachad. It doesn't say that. It says dan yedinamo ka'achad shivtei Yisrael. That Dan, Shevet Dan, will judge his nation like one of the shvatim of Yisrael, like the chashav shvatim. But the word is darshaning without the end of the pasuk. Dan yedinamo keachad. Dan, he will judge his nation like the one. Who's the one? Hashem Echad. Hashem Zechidu Shalom. And he judged, and it's referring to Shimshon over there. The pasuk doesn't say Yaakov's bracha, but that was referring to Shimshon, that he's going to judge Am Yisrael the way Hashem does, in justice. Shimshon is called on the name of Hashem. Shenema ki Shemesh U'Magen, Hashem Elokim. Shimshon is like Shemesh. Shemesh U'Magen, Hashem Elokim. Hashem is like Shemesh U'Magen. So we'll see in a second about the word Shemesh means Pashtat means the sun, and Shimshon is called the sun, and Hashem is called Shemesh U'Magen. Hashem is called like a sun and a shield. So Shimshon is called on the name of Hashem. The Gemara says, if so, then the word Shimshon shouldn't be erased because it's the name of Hashem. It doesn't mean literally that's the name of Hashem. It means that it's similar to the name of Hashem. That it's called Shimshon, and Hashem is called Shemesh. Just like Hashem protects the world, shield, Mogain, Shemesh, Mogain, Hashem Elokim. So too, Shimshon protected his generation. He fought for them, and he was able to protect them from the Plishtim. Very interesting point that the word Mogain means a shield. Shemesh means the sun. And here the Gemara talks about Shimshon and it says he was a Mogain. It doesn't say Mogain. He's not called Mogain. He's called Shimshon. So Rashi says a very interesting thing that the word Shemesh doesn't always mean sun. Shemesh means sun. Sometimes it means also protection. And Rashi brings down the word
Shemesh.
what?
How about Shemesh?
That doesn't help over here. We're talking about protecting. The shamash doesn't protect. But Rashi brings down a pasuk. That sometimes it means a wall, like it says Samtikat Kod Shem Shosaya. So the Chord has the modern word for a windshield. How do you say windshield in Hebrew? Shamasha. A wind Shamasha, not Shamsha. That windshield, the front of the car is called a windshield. Windshield. It's not summer glass, it's a shield. And it comes over here. So Rashi says that the word Shamash means a shield. And Shimshon is called a shield. Shimshon is called the shield. The word Shamash doesn't mean sun. Rashi.
What? Shamash protects the rebbe. Oh, you want to say that?
Really, it means to serve. Really, it means to serve. He serves the rebbe. So that's interesting that Shimshon is called a Magen over here. He's called that he protects Hashem. He protects Am Yisrael the way Hashem protects Hashem. The way Hashem protects Am Yisrael. Rabbi Yochanan. This comes in next point. Rabbi Yochanan. Bilam chiga b'raglo achas hay shenam avayelach shefi. Shimshon chiga b'shtei raglo vayeh shenam shifon alei orach. It says by also by the brachas of Yaakov. It says that he done chash alei derech shififon alei orach. Shififon is a kind of a snake. Dan should be like a snake, and it's called a shififon. But you always see the word shefi means lame. Rashi says it has to do with the word in Aramaic, shaf, there's something that gets dislocated. So it says that Bilam was lame in one foot, like it says, Vayelach Shefi. The Pashut over there means he went secretly, quietly, but the Mars Dashni that he went as a lame. He was limping. And that's by Bilam, Russian of Shefi, Shin Pei. But by Shimshon it says Shin Pei Pei, Shvifon. It sounds like double. That means that he was lame in both of his feet. So even though we think of Shimshon as a great Gibor, he was, but he was lame in both feet. It doesn't mean he wasn't able to walk, but he probably had to with difficulty. He walked with difficulty. And yet
he was so strong.
Yeah, he didn't have to run. 5 were created similar to heavenly, something like superhuman, not from this planet. All of them were struck with them, and the same thing that they were so superhuman. But that's the thing that they were struck with. Shimshon b'kocho, Shol b'tzavoro, Avshalom b'saro, Tzidkiah b'einav, Asa b'raglav. Brings 5 personalities, each one has something superhuman, and all of them, they were struck with that thing. Shimshon in his strength, he had superhuman strength. Shol had super neck, means he was very tall. Meshikhu v'mal gavol mikolam, he was a head taller than everybody else, very tall. Avshalom b'saro, with his hair, beautiful hair. Tzidkiah b'einav, and Asa b'raglav. So Rashi is going to say that we don't have any pasuk about that, but they had a Masorah that Tzidkiah had something extraordinary about his eyes, and Asa about his feet. And all of them were struck with that thing. Now it goes over again, it's going to explain the psukim where you see that they were struck with that. Shimshon b'kocho, after his hair was cut, so his strength removed, went away from him. So that he lost his strength. Shol b'tzavaro, that he was extra tall, but Shaul eventually killed himself and took a sword and he fell on it. Rashi says he fell on his neck. That's the way he wanted to kill himself. So he was great with his neck, but that was his greatness, but that also was what he fell with. Avshalom b'saro, we're going to have a story later on about Avshalom. The Pasuk also says that he was caught in his hair. He had beautiful hair, and the Pasuk talks about how beautiful his hair was, and at the end, he was caught by it. Tzidkiah of the Siva is saying Tzidkiah we bear, that they blinded Tzidkiah. The book of Netzar at the end, when he captured Tzidkiah, he blinded him. And also Raglav the Siv, Raglav Isik Naso, Cholas Raglav. When he became old, Asa, the king Asa, he was a tzaddik and the kings of Yehuda, and he became sick in his feet. And it doesn't say, we don't know from any place else that they had something special about his eyes and his feet, that Tzidkiah and Asa, but Rashi says that they had such a Kabbalah. The Gemara says a side point, make parentheses over here. Damar of Yehuda, Damar Rav. Let's talk about Asa. Until then, the Gemara is all Agav.
Asa was a righteous king?
Yes.
Who was he the son of?
I have to look. His son was Yoshaphat, who was his father. Aviyam. Rechavam was his grandfather. David, Shlomo, Rechavam, Aviyam, Asa.
Aviyam.
Okay, anyway, back to the subject. So we're going off the subject. We're going on a side issue about Asa. That the sickness that he got, cholas raglav, was a sickness called padgara. Pei dalet gimel reish aleph, that the pei dalet, it sounds like also in English when you want to say foot, so you say POD or PED, that's foot.
Podiatry.
Amalei Marzutra read of Nachman. Rav Nachman's son asked his father, what is this disease? Amalei kemachat bebasar chai. It's like a needle in live skin. That when you, the way you feel a needle, if I feel needles. But no yada, the Gemara says, how did Rav Nachman know? Either he had this disease himself. Some say that it's here from his Rebbe, and I guess his Rebbe had it. And that it was a secret that Hashem gives secrets to those who fear him, and Hashem let him know what it is, even though like Ruach HaKodesh. Dorash, Rava. Right, same thing about Benazai, all three things, right? Same three things. Either he experienced it himself, or from his Rebbe, or so Hashem. Yeah, I don't know what the kasha is so much over here, because if Pudgara is obviously a disease, so you can ask the doctor what Pudgara is. Somebody has it. If nobody has it, it's not called Pudgara. Pudgara means some disease. So what's the kasha? How do you know what it is? The same way we would know what some diseases, because that's what the doctor's saying. So I don't know why the kasha over here. Dorash,
In Aki, I'm sorry, am I in the right place?
you're too far. Dorash Rava, here it is. Dorash Rava.
Okay.
How come Anish was punished that he got some disease? Why? Why did he get the disease? Because he took the Talmid Chachamim into the national work. He made them work for the government. Over there, it's talking about there was a war between Yehuda and Yisrael, the 10 tribes and the 2 tribes, and the king of the 10 tribes was building something that was going to stop Yehuda. And the king Asa, he announced to the whole Yehuda, Einoki, nobody's exempt. Everybody has to go to take the wood over there. They took the wood away, stones, the wood, whatever it was, and nobody was exempt. My Einoki, even where it says in the pasuk, Naki Yela Beso, that sometimes it gets an exemption, like a chassan and a kala, but a kala, of course, but it means that there's no chassan, so the kala has nothing to do in the chuppah because the chassan went to the army. So even over there where it says Naki Yela Beso, but here ain't Naki, here there's no exemptions. And also you didn't give exemption to Talmid Chachamim. That was wrong. Talmid Chachamim don't have to work for the army, for military protection. So that was the Avera of Asa, and because of that he was punished that he got a disease in his feet. That came in Agav because we spoke about that Shimshon was Dugba Shalmala with his strength, and he lost it at the end. And it brought down Agav also about Shaul, Avshalom, Tzidkiah, and Asa.
Where does it say that Shaul's neck, his issue was height and not strength of neck? Amid.
It doesn't say something that he was strong in his neck. It says that he was tall. So it doesn't say in the Gemara. The Gemara says the part of where he was lucky. The Gemara doesn't bring any of them where you see that they were extraordinary. It just brings the part that they got punished with that. The whole Gemara doesn't bring down any of the 5. It doesn't bring down the source that they had something extraordinary. That's some of them we know, some of them we don't know. By Shaul, we do know that he was tall. If you want to say that he was strong, then it's going to be something that we don't know about. Back to Shimshon, but this is the last thing about Shimshon. Then we're going to have a transition into Tamar. It says Shimshon went down to Timnah. One of the places he went to over there the first time was Timnah. By Tamar, most talks about Timnas. And over there it says she was told that her father-in-law is going up to Timnas, Lagos Tono, to shear his sheep over there. That's when she disguised herself and know that she had relations with Yehuda. So the kasha is that here it says by Yerid, and here it says Oleh. Was Timnah down or was Timnah up? Timnah's up. By Shimshon it says he went down to Timnas, and by Yehuda it says he went up to Timnas. That's the contradiction. A few tirutzim on Veloza Shimshon Shinizgana Bak Sibei Yerida, Yehuda Shinisala Bak Sibei Aliyah. That Shimshon, not physically if it was topography, if it was up or down, but it means that Shimshon that he had a down, a spiritual down because of Timnas. So that's why he says the word by Yerid, he went down, he had a Yerida. But by Yehuda, that he went to Timnas, the end of it became a good thing that he had relations with Tamar, and out of that came out Malchus based David. So that's why he says Aliyah and Yerida, not because of the physical going up or going down, but the spiritual going up and down. That was terrace number 1. Terrace number 2, they're 2 different cities. It isn't the same city. One is down, one is up, so it's not the same city. The Papa Amar, simple teretz. Chada timna havoy, dasi my gisa yirida, dasi my gisa aliyah. It's the same timna, depends where you're coming from. Some places you're coming from, Yehuda came from a lower place, so it says he went up. Shimshon came from a higher place, so it says he went down. Keep going. Dunya, Bebari, Veshuka, then Arash. She brings different places that were in the middle of a hill, and some people came to it from the higher up, some people came to it from lower down. So that was the sugya that came in just to answer the kasha. How come you have a contradiction by Yered or Oleh? And now, because of this thing, we came into Tomar, so we dash in the whole Tomar now. It's going to be Amud Gemara. The rest of the day today is going to be about Tomar, which is very Agav the Agav. Shimshon is only over here because of the Mida Keneged Mida of Sotah. So we brought in Shimshon. And now, because of Shimshon, we had a kasha over here. Is Timnas high or low? So we got into Tomar. So now we're going Agav the Agav. The cruise is going on another side cruise. So the whole sugya now is going to be about Tomar. We're dashing now the sugya of Tomar. Here it starts. The whole thing till the end of today is going to be all about Tomar. But so it says she was standing by Pesach Einayim in order to meet Yehuda. So what's Pesach Einayim? So a few pshatim over here. We're going to try to highlight it as we go along also. But Teisha b'Pesach Einayim. What's that? Amar B'Lasabi. Malamed Shalcha v'Yashua b'Pesach Shal Avrohom Avinu. Malcolm Shekol Einayim. So forth also. So the Gemara, I don't know how the Pesach Einayim, Rashi says means, what the Gemara says, Rashi explains that the place everybody liked to go to. It was a tent of Avram. Of course, he wasn't around anymore. This is already talking about Yehuda and Tomar. So Avram's tent wasn't there. But the place where Avram Avinu had a tent, and every Kol Einayim Sofos Levos, everybody liked to see it. Everybody was excited about seeing Avram Avinu's tent, a place to be able to lodge and to get food. So that's called Pesach Einayim, the place where people were longing for. That's shot number one. Name of a place. The name of the place, Pesach Einayim, by the place, the entrance of Einayim, the city called Einayim. There's another place in the shul where it's called Einam. Here it says Einayim, there it says Einam. Similar, there's a name of a place called Einayim. Third shot. That she gave room, she explained herself, she gave a way of understanding when Yehuda wanted to have relations with her, but Yehuda himself was hesitant. He had some speculation. He wasn't sure, not speculation, he had some hesitation. He wasn't sure if he should have relations with her, and she explained why it's mutter. And the Gemara goes through a few points that he was worried about. Maybe you're a Goya. Of course, she was not Jewish. She wasn't from the family. But the point would be if she was doing Avodah Zarah. I'm a convert. Means I don't do Avodah Zarah. Maybe you're married. I'm single. Maybe your father took for you kedushin, even though you think you're single, but maybe your father married you off. I'm a lay soman. You have no father. Maybe you're a Timanida. I'm a lay Torah ani. I am Torah. So Pesach Einayim would mean that she explained how she's mutter to Yehuda. Rashi points out that according to this, that she's Yisoma, and if it was really true, the Gemara is saying that she said true things. If she was Yisoma, so it comes out that her marriage to Aaron Onan also was not a derisa marriage, and she wasn't really Asa to Yehuda. Rashi says this based on the Gemara. The Gemara doesn't say that. The problem was maybe you're my daughter-in-law. The Gemara says maybe you're married, maybe you're Eshes Ish, and she doesn't say Yisoma. Rashi says if she was Yisoma, she wasn't the daughter-in-law of Yehuda either. The pasuk says further, "Vayita." This is Rana Agav Mamash Agav. Now a few lines about Avram. Since we mentioned that Pesach Einayim might mean the Pesach Shel Avram Avinu, so now we're going on an extra bonus about Avram Avinu's tent. It says Vita Eshel Be'Beersheva, that Avram planted an Eshel in Beersheva. What's that? So we said before there was a tent of Avram Avinu, so that might be the tent. What does it say? One shot says that he made an orchard with all kinds of delicacies, all kinds of trees that he made planted in this paradise. And that's why Eshel means a paradise. Some say that it was a paradise, like we just said, Lakish, and one of these of Yudah and Nechemia, and one of them says it means a pundik, an inn, a place to stay. There's no mandam paradise that says the word Vayita. Vayita means to plant. And they say Vayita. El mandam pundik, my Vayita. Does it say Vayita to plant in? It doesn't say Lashon planting, it say build. Why does it say plant? The Gemara says, yeah, it's not a problem. If it say Vayita or Leah Padno, you do find that even by a tent, it's called to we call like pitching a tent. So you can say planting a tent, and you find that in the Psukim also by the Neil, that even by a tent also you can say Vayita. So it's not a kasha. The word Vayita Eshel either can mean a tree or it means a pundik. still by Avrohom. This is a tangent. We're still in this tangent over here, a side tangent. Amr Shlokish. Avram called over there the name of Hashem, the everlasting God. Amr Shlokish, Atikri Vayikra, this was Vayikra. He called Hashem. Atikri Vayikra Ella Vayakri. Read the word as if it would say Vayakri. What does that mean? That he made the call, not that he called. He made the call. It means he made other people to also call in the name of Hashem. Avram Avinu with the Shmosh HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'Perek Al-Over B'Shav. Avram Avinu made that all the people passing by, all the passers-by, should call out in the name of Hashem. How did he do that? After they finished eating and drinking, Avram gave them to eat and drink. After the meal, so they wanted to bless him. Did you eat of mine? You ate of the God of the world. So it's not mine, it's Hashem's. Thank and praise and bless to the one who said that the world came to exist. So that was all about Avram, which came in Agam because of Tamar. And back to Tamar. So this was a side point, and we're still back in this. We're still in the side point about Tamar, but we went off a little bit even further about Avram. Back to Tamar. It says in the pasuk, "Vayireha Yehuda, vayachshavel zona ki chisis apanah." Yehuda saw her, and he thought that she was a zona because she covered her face. So the pasuk shot is because the zona would cover her face, people should know who she is. But the Gemara goes the opposite, that the zona uncovers her face. So because she covered her face, she thought she's a zona. She's a tsanua, so that's why he thought that she's a zona. On the contrary, if she would have been a zona, she would have uncovered her face. You shouldn't the zona. It doesn't make sense. Not that she covered her face now. Now she uncovered her face. But Yehuda didn't recognize it because she had covered her face when she was by his home, when she was married to his sons. So Yehuda didn't know how she looked because she had covered her face. So now that she uncovered her face, he still didn't recognize her. How do you know that Tamar had done that? The Omar. Any daughter-in-law that's Tsanua in her father-in-law's home, she's going to be Zocha, and kings and prophets will come out of her. How do you know? Because when Tamar was Tsanua b'Beis Chomiyah, like we just finished saying, that Yehuda didn't know how she looked, because she kept the Tsanua from him, and it came out of him, from her, Nevi'im and Malachim. The order here is a little difficult. It will be simpler to say Malachim David, because we know that from Yehuda came David. That's Pashut. That the Yichus of David is from Yehuda. Wow. So just to skip a second, to skip these words, Nevi'im, skip that, just go straight to the next line. Malachim David. And Nevi'im, how do you know Nevi'im also? How do you know that Nevi'im came from Tamar? Yichsiv, Chazon Yishayahu ben Amos. From Rav Levi, that was Amos. That we could know that Yeshaya ben Amos also came from Tamar. How do you know? Because it says Yeshaya ben Amos. Yeshaya's father was Amos. And we had a Masorah that Amos and Amasya were brothers. Amasya was the king of Yehuda. And that came from Tamar, the whole dynasty of David. So if Amasya was from David, so his brother Amos also was from the same family. They were brothers. So Yeshaya ben Amos was also from Tamar. So what did the Gemara say? That Tamar was Tsanua b'Beis Chomiyah. You didn't know how she looked because of that. She had come out of her kings, Malchus Beis David, and also Nevi'im, Yeshaya ben Amos. The next pasuk about Tamar. He mutzeis. She was taken out. And that says she was taken out to be burnt, like it says that she was taken out and she sent to her father-in-law saying, "To he who these are, am I pregnant?" And she sent him the three simanim that she had asked for, the matcha and the matcha psilacha. How does it go over there? So the Gemara says the word he would say doesn't sound right. He mitot says me boy. He should have said that she was taken out. The word would have been more proper grammatically to say he mitot says. To say he would say sounds something about finding, not being taken out. That's the Gemara's kasha that something's wrong with the diktuk of the word. No, it means finding. After the simanim were found, means that even though she had, of course, held on to these three simanim, this was going to be her proof that she's innocent and she's pregnant from Yehuda. She had the posam, psila, mata, but she lost it. And then she found it. So he would say it means after she found it. After it was found, so then she sent it to Yehuda to say that this, but she almost lost it. And the Gemara says how it got lost, not because she was negligent. Samuel, Satan, he tried to hide it. He tried to make her lose it. in order that she should get burned, and shouldn't be Malchus Beis David. And Gabriel is the one who saved it. He brought it back, and that's how she found it. So there was a danger that she almost lost it because someone was getting in the way. But Gabriel was sent to bring it back, and she found it, and she brought it. He would say it was found. This is the pasuk in Tehillim, one of those introductions that we never know what it means. And here the Gemara is going to dash, and what does it mean? The pasuk pshat might mean that it's a name of a melody, or it's an instrument that's called Yonah Selim Mechokim. And David Michtam, what does Michtam mean? It's also kind of a psalm. Sometimes it's called Mizmor, sometimes it's called a Michtam. What's the Michtam? So the Gemara, we don't know. The pasuk pshat, we don't know what all these things are. But the Gemara says a drash on that. When she lost her simanim, those simanim that she had to give him to show Judah that she was pregnant from him, so she was like a Yonah Ilam, was like a dumb pigeon. She wasn't able to talk. She had no proof to prove her innocence. She was going to be burned. Then Hashem made a miracle, and she found it. The Gemara already finishes the rest of the pasuk. David Michtam. What is the David Michtam? She had some men of David that she came out of her. Her descendant was David, who was a mach v'tam lakol. What's a mach? Mach is like an honor of a lowly person. Tam shalim to all people. He was an honor to all people, and shalim tamim to all people. Tavrach and michtam shayis makaso tamash. Another kishumov. Another pshat in the word michtam would mean a makkah. Makkah means a wound. His wound was complete. What does that mean? That he didn't have to have a bismillah because he was born circumcised. And the third pshat in michtam, tavrach and michtam kishem shebakadusa hikbenasmo esalisha gavmenu b'torum b'torah. So that he always lowered himself, that he made himself low before those that are bigger than him, just like in his youth he did that, in his smallness before he became king. Also when he became king, also he used to lower himself before those that are bigger than him. That was the side point about, since we mentioned about Mutzeis, that she had lost the simanim, as the Gemara says, Samuel was trying to hide it from her, but then she found it. So the Gemara brings the point about Yonah Salem. That's why over there, David is referring to the time that his great-great-grandmother, Tamar, when she had lost the simanim, she was like a Yonah Salem. It says in the pasuk further, back to quote the pasuk, she sent to her father-in-law, to he who this belongs to, I am pregnant. And she sent him the 3 simanim, and he's supposed to say that that's from him. Why does she say it openly? She should have said that's from you. Why does she have to say to the one this belongs to? She could have said that's you, and I have proof. If anybody has to have the proof. Amar Rav Zucha Bar Tuvia, Amar Rav, Amir Lam Rav Chana Bar Biz, Lam Rav Shimon Chassid, Amir Lam Rav Yochanan Mishim Rav Shimon Ben Yochai, Noach Lo Adam, famous Gemara, Noach Lo Adam Shaf Alasma Losof Kibshan Eishol Ayab Amnei Chaver B'Rabim. This better person should throw himself into the furnace of fire and not to embarrass his fellow man in public. So therefore, she wouldn't say that. Only if Yehuda admitted would she take the admittance, and say that and agree. But she wouldn't have forced him to admit, and if he didn't want to, she wasn't going to say anything, and she would have been burned. Like we just said, that she wasn't going to say that it was Yehuda only if he himself admitted. Place that's the kasha that it should have been in the Yagval Yava. How come it doesn't? It should have said this one also. Place says a teretz. But I might think, I would have thought it says no, it doesn't say it's mechuyev to. It says that it's better, but not that it's mechuyev to. Taisus makes it like it's mamish Yagval Yava, that a person shouldn't embarrass somebody. He should even let himself be killed. It says in the pasuk, Haker no. Haker no, the Mia Chosemes, Chosemes, Vamate, Vapasirin. Remember, recognize now. The word no means now. But first, the more dash is the word Haker. What does Haker mean? Haker no. You see a very interesting, not a coincidence, but you see the same word that's also used by the brothers when they told Yaakov that Yosef was eaten up. Hakerna, Kasonas ben Chahi, that they told their father the word Hakerna. So he also was told Hakerna. When it came,
correlation.
What?
Correlation.
Thank you. So just like he did Avera by telling his father Hakerna Kasonas ben Chahi, so too Haker was. So they also brought the news to him with Haker. Hakerna that was on the word Haker, and now on the word no. Now the word is not the no part. I mean, no, what's that? Haker no the me. That is part of the pasuk. How can no? The Gemara is not actually the no. No. No, Lashon Bakasha. People think that the word no means please, but it doesn't. The word honor means please. I beg. But the word no means now. But the more saying, but the word no is also now, but it means Lashon Bakasha. It's like a drash kind of level that it has there. It denotes in a Bakasha way, but the word translation of no does not mean please. Honor means please. Honor Hashem Moshiach,
Right.
please Hashem, help now. The word no means now, but the more saying that it's a Lashon Bakasha. So Hakana, she was saying, please remember. Please recognize your creator and don't ignore me. Means don't just say I don't know, I don't recognize it, and then she's going to get burned. She wasn't going to reveal it if he doesn't. But she said, please do. Yehuda recognized that and he said that she is right. She is right. And the Mimeni's understood that it means that it's from him, that he's the one, he's the father, that he admitted that she's pregnant from him. He has to point out that the next couple of lines in all the Kisvei Yad, it doesn't have it. It's supposed to be from that Flamet Vav on the base. So if we want, we'll learn it, but we just put it in parentheses because it really doesn't belong here until here. There's like 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 lines that's not supposed to be here, and all of the manuscripts it doesn't have it. They got in from the Flamet Vav. But we'll read it because I don't know if it's going to be over there. But Hanad Amri Rabbi Chanan Bar Bizlam Rabbi Shimon Chasida Yosef Shekil Shas Shem Shemayim B'Seisa Zachav V'Osif Lo Asa Chas Mishmos HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yechsev Ve'edes B'Hosef Samo Yehuda Shekil Shem Shemayim B'Fehesia Zachav V'Nik L'Kul L'Ashmos HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the fact that Yehuda's name is called Yehuda, which has Yud Kei Vav Kei in it, Yosef is Yud Vav, and it was added on the Hey. So it's 3 letters of the Shem. So it says different. Yehuda is more than Yosef. Why is that? Because Yosef is Mekadosh Shem Shemayim B'Seisa means the fact that he didn't have relations with Eshes Potiphar was a Kiddush Shem Shemayim. Not even if no one knows about it. There's an interesting thing. People think that Kiddush Hashem Mechil Hashem is only people know about it, but it's not true. There's the Mekadosh Shem Shemayim B'Seisa. There's a Mechal Shem Shemayim B'Seisa. It's even worse when there's Berabim, then it has more effect. Yes.
Every time, every mitzvah you do, a person makes a shakol, it's a Kiddush Hashem Shemayim B'Seisa. He doesn't make a bracha to the Kiddush Hashem B'Seisa.
I don't know. The Rambam, I don't know the answer. The Rambam talks about when a person doesn't have it that he has no time before, then it's a Chil Hashem. And if he does a mitzvah that he has nothing in no personal interest, then also it's a Kiddush Hashem. That's the
so every day you make a shakol. We wouldn't make a shakol if you were bored.
It could be. The Kiddush Shem Shemayim is to be Mechaber Hashem, and Kiddush, they explain the name of the word Kiddush is to show that Hashem is the ultimate, the most high. The more you show that Hashem is so high, that's called the Kiddush Shem Shemayim. And you show that Hashem is the Kilu, Chas V'Shalom, Chulin, like Machal Shem Shemayim, like nothing special, that's called the Chil Hashem. And a person can do that by Rambam or B'Tzina, B'Seisa. Sarah says that Yosef was Mekadosh Shem Shemayim, but it only was B'Seisa. He was Zochar, they added on to his name one of the letters of Hashem, and that's why his name was called Yehosef. Not only Yosef, Yehosef. And the Gemara doesn't make the point here that it was added on to be now you have a Yud Kei and above. It doesn't say that. It says you have one letter of Hashem. But Yehuda is Mekadosh Shem Shemayim B'Fehesia. How was he Mekadosh Shem Shemayim? Because he was Modeh, Yesat Kam Mimeni. So therefore, he was Zochar that his whole name is called Yehuda, even from birth. But Hashem orchestrated his name should be called Yehuda from birth. It has the whole name of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Shivin Shahod Avam Yesat Kam Mimeni Yosef Askol V'Amra Ata Yitzalta Tamar Shnei Bana Min Ha'or Hayecha Shani Masal B'Schuscha Gimel B'Necha Min Ha'or Maninu Chanani Mishal B'Azariah, that you saved Tamar and his 2 children. She was pregnant with 2 children, Eretz and Zarah. So since you saved, because you took the blame and you admitted, and you saved Tamar and her 2 sons from the fire, so I swear, Hashem says, that I'm going to save you and you'll marry 3 of your children. Who's that? They were saved from the fire. They're back to the Girsa. How do you know? Like Rashi says, maybe even though he knows he had relations with her, maybe she was a Zona, and she had relations with other men also. How does he know for sure that it's his children? So a heavenly voice came out. He said Tzadka, and Hashem said Mimeni. Hashem said Mimeni Yasser Kushan. That's for me. I'm the one who orchestrated everything.
Kushan means
what?
What's Kushan mean?
Kushan means secrets. Things that
what's the secret of it?
That this is something that Hashem was behind the scenes. Hashem was orchestrating that Yehuda should have relations with Tamar. That's supposed to come out Malchus Beis David from the 2 of them. The pasuk ends off. V'lo Yosef od L'da'ato. Pashut pasuk means he didn't have relations with her anymore. That's Pashut, but the Gemara says not so simple. Lo Yosef L'da'ato. Amar Shmuel Saba Hamud of Shmuel Bar Ami Mishmei of Shmuel Bar Ami. Doesn't mean that he didn't know her anymore. He didn't have relations anymore. It means he didn't stop having relations. He continued. He had to continue to have relations with Tom. He did take her as a wife.
The sub can also mean to not, to stop.
That's what the Gemara is saying. He didn't stop. That's what the Gemara is saying. The first shot is that he didn't continue. He didn't continue to have relations. But the Gemara is dashing that he didn't stop. How do you know that the word Yosef also can mean to stop? A great sound, and it didn't stop. So the Gemara sees the word Yosef means to stop. So to over here, he didn't stop to have relations. He continued having relations with her. All that is about Shimshon, and now we count the whole sugi of Tomar, and here's the end of the Gemara, and here's the end of the parentheses. The whole thing was Agav of Tomar. It wasn't really our subject. We can make a bigger parentheses. This is a fat parentheses over here. That whole sugi of Tomar came in Agav the Agav. Really the sugi of Shimshon. Shimshon is Agav because of Sotah, but then because we mentioned Shimshon that he went down to Timnas and he went up to Timnas, so we got into Tomar, and the whole thing was brought in Agav the Agav. And tomorrow we'll continue with Avshalom.
Yes,
Yashikot, everybody. Thank you.
Should I close this?
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Nice, I like this.
Yeah, I got it. It's great Chalamite. It's a treat Chalamite, yeah.
Great. Now, I gotta try to get that book now from Gershon Weiss. Samson's trouble, so. Yeah, I'll go on, let's go.
Well, you can put it on the, I can put it on the WhatsApp,